Hello, we are live. Don't know why I go into this southern accent when we first start the show. You are watching the Xander Gibb show. I hope. Just making sure. Yes, we are live. Welcome to the Xander Gibb show. We are in our pre-production mode. We're just getting set up for today's show. Apparently we're live on YouTube. I'm just making sure we are live on Facebook. But Facebook is not responding. Here we go. Yes, we are live on Facebook. Who is that handsome gentleman? Oh, it's me. So welcome to today's show. As I said, we are in pre-production mode. And we are just getting set up to go live to the nation. Well, I suppose it would be the internation as we go out internationally. Hi, Janie. Welcome to the show. You're the first one here. We're just getting set up. If you are watching, click that share button to show people where we're at and that the show is live and is about to start very soon. I'm just sharing the links to various places. Just getting the YouTube link because I know some of you like to watch the show on your TV. Just hope none of you have got one of those really big screen TVs. Get my face up on that. Ooh, scary. TVs. Get my face. Oh, where are we? Yep. Copy the link. Make sure we got the right link. Yeah, I pity these people that have big screen TVs because I used to have a really big screen TV, but it gave me nosebleeds. Oh no, that was the Democrats. Don't know what made me think it was a big screen TV. That is the YouTube link shared. We got a great show ahead for you tonight. I'm going to try and share it to Facebook or Fascist Book, as it's becoming very quickly known. All right, how are you guys out there finding Parler? I'm on it, but it kind of feels a little slow to start. But maybe that's just me. Yes. So we are just sharing to various Facebook pages. Well, apparently I have to do this at this point because otherwise I'm not giving you full face, whatever that means. Being careful not to share to groups or pages that I'm a member of that really wouldn't like me to be sharing the show in there. We are nearly there. We will be getting started very soon. I'll be coming to say hello to everybody in the live feed very soon. Been looking for news of Roger Stone today, but can't even find out much more about it. We are nearly there. I'm sorry, I have to be so careful not to share to the wrong groups because I get banned from Facebook for sharing stuff in groups that I shouldn't share. And all I'm sharing is my show. I think we're there. We are. We are done. We are rocking. We are cooking with gas. Let's Come to the live feed. Hi, Carla. Hi, chat. Hello to everybody else that's watching. We are going live for the Xander Gibb Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue opening titles.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello, welcome to today's gripping episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandemonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. And no, it's not your mother's basement. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I'm Xander Gibb, and on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox and give you the opportunity to get on yours too in our phone-in. And in part 2, I break down today's hottest topics with international political commentator Mark Sutherland. You can have your say in the feed below, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments, if they're clean, as we go. You can also follow me on social media and check me out at xandergibb.com. You can also follow me on Parler. I don't know if any of you are on that. I seem to be a little bit of a slow starter on Parler because people are telling me that they join and then they end up with 20 million followers within a week, but it's not worked like that for me. Hello to everybody in the live feed. We're just going to go through and say a quick hello. If I've already said hello to you, then no, it's not phone-in time yet, folks. Hello to Janie. Hello to Maria. Hello to Chet. Hello to who else is there? Carla. Hello to Carla. Hello to everybody else that's watching but isn't in the live feed. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for sharing, chat. If you guys haven't shared out there yet, please share to all of your groups and pages. Spread the message that someone's out there and it's me, and we're trying to make America great again. So the 4th of July weekend bloodshed in NYC continued on Sunday night. At least 7 people were shot, 5 fatally in a span of about 3 hours. Police said the first murder which police were notified of was at 5:47 p.m., which claimed the life of a 21-year-old man in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Cops said, so much for defunding the police, Bill de Blasio. I mean, Warren freaking Wilhelm. Where were your team of social workers when all these people were getting shot? You've turned NYC into a ghetto, and you should resign along with Cuomo because you're both a waste of space. Whew, I am so sick of these people. Hello to my Gina. Welcome to the show. Hello to Nicola, who I believe is in the UK. I hope you're good. Who else? Janie says, keeps going up so quickly. Here we go. Count John Paula, I've tried. I've sent the confirmation, never got it. Apparently, you have to do it on your phone. You have to set it up on your phone, first of all, because then when you set it up on your phone, it will let you set up. Hello, Nicholas. Welcome to the show. It will let you set it up from your phone, and then you can actually go online and do it from there. I think it's a new platform, so it's having problems. So please tell me I'm not going mad, guys. Please tell me that you're all as pissed with Warren Wilhelm in New York as I am, because it's getting really bad there. So a rope was found at a construction site in an off-campus building. Ropes are used for many things on construction sites. This was not a hate crime, as we will all eventually be told. It's just a rope. I mean, seriously, people need to stop being so insane. You know, ropes are used for more things than the nasty things that are suggested. Ropes actually come in handy. Ropes are great for swinging from tree to tree when you're a kid in the summer holidays. So get a grip, people, and stop being so damn ridiculous. Muslim students in Iran refused to step on the U.S. flag that was intentionally placed there by the regime. Perhaps we should bring them to the United States and send Antifa there. Both groups would live happily ever after, or not, as the case may be. Tom Cotton said that Rice, as in Susan Rice, was the typhoid Mary of the Obama area of foreign policy. I love that. Let's stop for a second and just relish that. Susan Rice, you are the typhoid Mary. Adding that he is not surprised to see her distorting facts in an effort to be Biden's vice president selection. I mean, imagine Sleepy Joe and Dirty Rice. Wait a minute, you could switch that around too, couldn't you? You could say Dirty Joe and Sleepy Rice. Chet says most Muslims are never happy. Well, those that are fundamental Islamic terrorists are never happy because they're waiting for their, is it 24 virgins they get? Yes, terrible color, all of the kids killed at the weekend. It is absolutely disgusting. But it happened in Chicago too. So it's all the blue states that think that they can manage without the police force. They'll soon be welcoming them back, I don't doubt. So a statue of Frederick Douglass was ripped from pedestals in upstate New York on Sunday, the day marking the 168th anniversary of the abolitionist giving one of his most seminal speeches condemning slavery. Now, Rochester police have said the statue was taken from its base in Maplewood Park and carried about 50 feet to a site near the Genesee River Gorge, according to the press. Now, the lower part of the statue and the finger of its left hand were reportedly damaged. What possesses these idiots to still be ripping down statues? Because, you know, the thing is, for me, if you have never made a mistake, then, you know, please step to the left. And I'm sure everybody is still standing where they are. It means no one can ever run for president again. It means no one can ever do anything again. Because ultimately, that we're all so imperfect. We can't continue in life. Kala says, rest in peace to Charlie Daniels. And somebody else today, whose name escapes me, a Broadway star, died today of COVID-19 complications. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Oh, sir, you're not allowed to say thoughts and prayers anymore, are you? Because it doesn't do any good. Well, they still have my thoughts and prayers whether people like it or not. Bill Cosby is citing systemic racism as he fights an assault conviction. Cosby, the Hollywood paragon of black family values, was convicted of sexual assault in 2018 as the movement exploded. And women across the globe shared their personal histories and experiences of sexual harassment and abuse. He's serving up to 10 years in prison and now in the midst of another historic reckoning, this time addressing the treatment of African Americans and other people of color by the police and the criminal justice system. The 82-year-old Cosby has won the right to an appeal. So let's just frame this, guys. Right, here's the thing. So the fact that Bill Cosby sexually assaulted so many women is racism. So what the hell were they supposed to do, Bill? Just let you do it. I am guessing it's a liberal judge that has just decided that it's okay to do this. There's something going on with the live feed. Maybe I have to size it down a little for it to work properly. There we go. Chet says Cosby is a disgusting piece of crap. He never even hung around black people. No, absolutely not. Carlos says a group of folks finished Christopher Columbus out. Oh, fished Christopher Columbus out of the river, and they're going to fix him. Isn't it disgusting that in 2020 we're trying to erase history? Who thought that any of these people were perfect? I definitely did not, because there was only one perfect person, and they crucified him. Heck, I'm far from perfect. Go and delve into my past. You will find so many things, but the thing is that I'm so open and honest about all of these things. There's nothing there to find. Someone actually said to me the other day, why are you so honest about the fact that you have had drug addiction in the past? Well, if I can help one person kind of see that you can get through these things, then it's worth it. So we're all imperfect. We're imperfect beings. Chet says, Obama never hung around black people. Careful, Chet. They will be saying you're racist. You can't say the word hung on black people in the same sentence. Wait. That has a little bit of a double entendre. Anyway, to get me out of this mess, we're going to take some calls. If you're in the United States, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. And if you're in the jolly old United Kingdom, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Call us now to put your point across about the things that we've been talking about or anything else that is really getting on your goat. There you go, Chet. Goat lives matter. That's a very British term. That's getting on my goat. So call us now, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. But if you're in the United Kingdom, you can call us on 0208-133-5274 if you are in the UK. We have our first caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name, Chet, and where are you calling from?
Well, when it's a Monday, I get an excuse because I've been off the program for a few days. So, But I still love to call every night. I don't know. I just do.
Hey, definitely not complaining. It's always a good chat. So what has really jumped out at you today, either from the subject matter that I've put forward or anything else? Hi, Roger. Welcome to the live feed. Because there's so much crap going on out there, chat, that it's really difficult to pinpoint which pisses you off the most.
Yeah, I think what pisses me off the most is seeing that madam that was basically having a love affair with Epstein and recruiting all these young girls. In the process of getting arrested, I've been trying to follow the story, and apparently, Xander, they're gonna put her in the same prison as where Epstein died.
I read that.
That's the decision now.
Yeah, isn't that a worry? Given what we need to get some T-shirts printed and say Maxwell didn't kill herself, because we would look pretty cool, wouldn't we? I mean, not that I'm wishing anything on her. I mean, I think she needs to be put in a pit in the town square, and everybody to pee on her and leave their excrement on her for eternity for pimping out kids. But as a peace-loving American, I will be leaving that to the judiciary to sort out, and we'll know if there's any intervention that it's down to Hillary. Let's face it. Hi, Stevie. Welcome to the show.
The reason he was killed was because of all the onslaught of bad news stories that were going to come out if he wasn't killed.
Right.
I mean, we've already seen a laundry list of Democrats, to be fair, mostly Democrats, on the Lolita Express. And, it's not a good thing. We need to be able to figure out exactly what was happening on Pedophile Island. But, Xander, I didn't know if you heard about this, but the FBI actually went to that island and pretty much destroyed everything.
Wow.
It's unreal how they can do this right in front of us and it's talked about on shows like yours, shows like ours, but ultimately they just don't pay attention to it because they don't want everybody else being implicated on that crime.
Oh, of course not.
Be a career finisher.
They're protecting the world and his gay lover, basically, because this implicates everybody from Prince Andrew, so sue me, Andy, if you have a problem with it, to Bill Clinton, and that implicates Hillary Clinton too, and I don't doubt that would bring down Obama too, because if it comes out that your Secretary of State was pimping out kids, which has been accused before, but there's never been any kind of direct evidence. And people joke about this adrenochrome stuff, but I actually think it's all interconnected, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think everything's interwoven, this whole thing, like with Pizzagate, which is real. I hate to keep bringing that up on your show because I don't want to be called a conspiracy theorist, but everything that we saw inside those emails, everything that we saw from Tom Perez and the rest of the ghouls, it's all adding up to the fact that we have a globalist cabal that abuses children, and they get off on it. And it's just so maddening that people are dumb enough to see it right in front of their face, but they don't want to say it because they don't want to expose these Democrats.
Well, it's interesting because... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and they should really care more about these children than the political affiliation of the jerks that are on this plane. Yeah,
exactly. Hi to Dave. Welcome. CV says they keep everything they found on the island secret because, they want... he's right, because they want to protect...
Yeah, he's right.
They want to kind of protect everybody. But the thing that's concerning to me, if there are people like this in society, and I wouldn't be surprised if Biden's been, ridden on the Lolita Express too. We need to know about this because the reason why so many pedophile gangs got away with so much in the past is because everybody covered up for them. In the 80s, 70s and 80s and 90s, even the BBC were covering up for pedophiles. They knew all about Jimmy Savile and various other people, but they did nothing about it because they were bringing in the megabucks. At what price children should be sacred and children should be protected, but at what price? Do you know what I mean? If someone's making money for your company, your organization, but the FBI's done it too. The FBI has ignored pedophilia because people have turned informants.
The FBI is a joke, Xander, and I'll tell you what, it may not be the main reason, but one of the reasons so many families and children and women are carted into the United States is because of sick people that want to abuse them.
Yeah.
Whether it's the coyotes running them in, or whether it's the very rich liberals paying so that they can have a young child to themselves.
Right.
And if you think, if you think I'm just pointing fingers because I don't like Democrats, then you're missing everything. You're missing it all. This is a big moneymaker on that southern border, and there's a lot of money to be made on both sides. And believe me, it happens, and it's unfortunate because it's gotten to the point where the floodgates have been opened up, and President Trump is trying to shut that down. But under Obama, it was just like, if you notice and you look at the numbers, maybe do this sometime, and your listeners do this sometime, look at all the sex ring busts there have been by Donald Trump in his first 3.5 years, and then compare it to Obama's with human trafficking. And you will find that Obama, in his first 3 years, tripled the amount that weren't caught, that the amounts that actually were happening in the United States. That's because Donald Trump has actually made a difference here, and he's actually started arresting some of these scumbags or putting enough people on the border to prevent it from coming in here.
Well, I think the thing is that the Democrats are going to protect all of these things like, border crossings and things like that because they obviously benefit from it. There is no doubt in my mind that government officials are, I think the majority, well, that's not fair. there are so many politicians that are actually corrupt and will turn a blind eye to something for, if you give them a few bucks. And I think that is disgusting. I think annually there should be a fiscal audit for every person, every elected official, to make sure that they're not, having money going into their account for favors, cash for questions, cash for favors. It needs to be stamped out. And while you're allowing this to still carry on, nothing's going to change. This is the swamp draining that Donald Trump was talking about.
Yeah, this is the corrupted fifth pillar. Also, what the mainstream media does is if they don't cover the story, it goes nowhere. You don't ever hear about it again. It might even be a case that's solved in court, and you just don't hear about that. A good example. Do you remember Bernie Sanders' wife had extorted all that money?
Yeah.
She got all this money from Burlington University. Whatever happened with that? You don't hear anything. She did commit the crime. We already know that. We knew it years ago. I think it was settled maybe last year, but have you heard anything about that?
No, because...
A great example. If they cover it up, then it goes bye-bye.
Well, she turned around and said it was because she'd written a cookbook. But, the correlation between how much you can make from a cookbook and what she actually had were worlds apart. But it's interesting, and I'm actually getting very tired of this, how the left gets away with absolutely everything. I mean, why is Hillary Clinton not in prison? Why is Bill Clinton not in prison? Why do they continue to get away with these things? Because if it was a Republican, they would be in jail right away.
Well, just what I said. It all has to do with the media. It all has to do with the coverage, and it all has to do with who they know in which positions.
Right.
I mean, look how many judges were put into place by Barack Obama that have ended up stepping on Trump's policies. Over in Hawaii, there was one, I believe a few in California, where the decisions made are detrimental to the American people, and they're not working with the president, they're working against the president.
Right.
Because he's actually trying to make a difference. But the media controls it. Xander, you remember when James Comey said, yes, she did, and he was like, but if you guys, she did destroy top secret information, but if you guys do it, you'll go to jail. He actually said that.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell can people hear that and think that he's not just, and I know he was thumbing his nose at the American people.
Well, but the thing is that if the upper echelons are corrupt, elements of the judiciary, elements of the FBI that were politicized under Obama, I'm not saying that he's the only president to have politicized the FBI, but the thing is that if his reach is still kind of continuing when he's out of office, what does that say about our current FBI? We need, and please, I have to emphasize, this is not your average FBI agent. We're talking about the leadership of the FBI, because the agents are tired of it too. They don't join the job in order to be corrupt.
A good amount of the agents are tired of it, but I'll tell you, Xander, there's a lot of agents in there that are doing the same thing.
Right.
It's really corrupted. I mean, think about those two terrorist complexes and compounds that we found. One was in New Mexico, and the other one was in Arizona. And the FBI destroyed those complexes after we caught two of these dirtbags that were training young children to commit jihad. And they found one of the dirtbag's son, who had been murdered, buried under the dirt. And then they wipe out the facility. So we don't know what kind of artillery they had.
No.
We don't know what kind of messaging they were putting out there. And the reason they do that is because the FBI has failed time and time again to address our enemies. Instead, they'd rather spy on someone from the Tea Party.
Well, this is exactly why, Joe Biden is in bed with China, and him and his son have made millions from that relationship, and also relationships in the Ukraine, because nothing is ever done about the corruption on the left. And I would be saying exactly the same thing if we had direct evidence of people on our side of the aisle doing the same thing, because we should be above this in 2020. We should be above this level of corruption. But let me ask you this, Chet. You live in New York. You live in Long Island, which I guess is a little bit more sedate than New York City. But do you not feel a little bit afraid with the level of tyranny that's going on in NYC under Bill de Blasio's watch?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's reason for fear for the state in general. I feel horrible for people that are in the city. The crimes have gone up. The crime is bad right now. The crime that's happening is disgusting. I mean, we see the police being pelted with bottles and rocks when these people in Harlem were calling them into the district to try to. Well, the police were responding to something that they thought was a robbery. When they get there, they get attacked. I mean, and, they also have that kind of set up autonomous zone. And de Blasio comes out and he says, yeah, their messaging is not good and we don't represent. And then all of a sudden, he's like, but we're not doing anything about it.
No.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's such posturing.
Because that's what he wants.
Yeah. It is, but it's what the left wants, because the whole ideology behind this is that it's to try and make Donald Trump look bad, and anyone who doesn't see that clearly has half an eye. But I worry for the long-term implications of this, But ultimately, I don't know. I just it makes me very sad as an outsider looking in, because it actually makes NYC. Look like something that it never was before these idiots took over running it.
Yeah, I agree. I think going the 70s was probably pretty violent, although there just weren't enough. Now we have a lot more in the boroughs, so there's a lot more people in there now. So you're seeing a big lift on the crime, but the way you solve that is by defunding the police.
Yeah.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Really? That works, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we're going to defund the police, Xander, to be fair, we should take away Mr. de Blasio and Mr. Cuomo's police detail.
Yeah.
That would actually save a lot of money, and I'm sure they'd be willing to do it. No problem.
Yeah. Well, most of the police don't want to guard them anyway. I have to point out to you, no. Dave has made homemade ice cream for us, but I don't know how. It's going to probably melt by the time it gets here. But he's also emphasizing something about goat life matters. But did you see that Kanye West, who's obviously running, is talking about running for president, he's actually saying, he refers to himself as the goat, which means greatest of all time. So I wonder if, I laughed at that today when I saw it, and I thought, I wonder if we have to rethink this goat lives matter if he's calling himself a goat.
Well, maybe he's a listener. He might be a listener. We might need to get Kanye involved.
Yeah, exactly. But I have a theory on why he's running. I think it's to kind of to filter votes away from Joe Biden. But good for him. Anything that stops Biden getting in is kind of good in my book. But I wonder who's going to be paying for that.
Do you think he's really going to do that? You think he's going to run?
I don't know, but it would be. I mean, if you'd have said to me a few years ago, Donald Trump in the White House doing a brilliant job, in fairness, I would have said, yeah, whatever. But when you see what Donald Trump has been able to achieve and people doubted him, I'm not saying we should give them an opportunity. I mean, imagine the front of the White House would be painted gingham. I mean, respect to Kim Kardashian. She knows fashion, but does she know running a country? But the other hilarious thing to me about all of this is that I dispelled this myth on Twitter today that people are saying Kim Kardashian has freed so many people. Let me tell you, folks, Kim Kardashian has not freed anybody because she doesn't have that power. She took these people's cases to plead to Donald Trump, who gave them a presidential pardon. So Kim Kardashian ain't free shit. Excuse my French.
Yeah, but Xander, they don't want to give Donald Trump any credit.
No.
So they give it to Kim Kardashian
No.
instead. And you know what? I wasn't even a supporter of that, but they can't even give him credit on it. He shouldn't have even bothered.
No.
It's like, they never give him credit on anything. It's so frustrating. You have a great economy, no credit. You got jobs through the roof, no credit. You've got a recovering unemployment, no credit. You defeat ISIS, no credit. And all the while they're trying to, Russiagate you have going on. You had them trying to point out that he should show his taxes because they'll be no good. It's just the man never gets anything right in their opinion.
No.
And he gets a lot of things right. More so than anybody else out there that works for CNN, believe me.
I think he's actually, and I'll go on record as saying this, we're going live to the nation. I will go on record as saying that he's done a far better job than even I anticipated. I mean, I was a never Trumper. Once he was nominated, I got behind him 200%. But he's even amazed me at the level of job that he's done. And, long may he reign, because the alternative is absolutely petrifying, to say the least.
Oh, absolutely. He has done a fantastic job. I believe he will continue. When I jumped ship, and I was like you, I think you supported Cruz, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was supporting Cruz, and I started to get a little iffy with him because he was talking about the border in a way I didn't really like. And this was when we were still doing the podcast, and we got together, and there was actually one of the debates which Trump didn't show up to, and he had his own rally on C-SPAN. The guys were watching the debate in there, and I went into another room and started watching the Trump rally. And when I came out of that room, I said, I'm supporting Donald J. Trump because he's going to win.
Yeah.
And he's got a great message. And that was it. I never looked back. I made my decision there because he did, as much as Donald Trump can be a big shot star, and he is, because he was number one at everything that he did.
Yeah.
He can identify with the American people. He has a way of communicating with the average Joe.
But
That's what made him so good.
But I didn't like him. But we weren't supposed to, which is testament to what a good job he did. As far as I was concerned, he was this arrogant asshole that sat behind a desk and said to people, "You're fired." And so we weren't meant to like that character. But when you hear kind of the backstory about all the good that the guy has been doing, I mean, did you know that? Oh God, what's her name? Jennifer. She was on America's Got Talent, Jennifer, and she was in the Sex and the City movie. But when her family got shot, did you know that Donald Trump went to her aid?
Oh, that's right. Now I remember the story, yes.
So he's such a bad orange man, that he did that. And he's such a racist because obviously racists always help black people and their families after they've been shot down there. Well,
I can tell you one thing, Xander. Looking at what he does, and especially looking at what Eric and Don Jr. do for pediatric cancer and other illnesses that are greatly unaddressed in this country, including HIV/AIDS right now. Eric does something with that. They are such good people. But the media doesn't want you to know that. They just keep on throwing on, this, that, and the other. They've done this back in 1987. And it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
All the politicians that have been sitting in that Capitol, they're not worth their weight in salt. What did Joe Biden ever do to make him seem like the candidate that America should vote for? What has he fixed?
Absolutely nothing. 40 years in Congress, and all he's done is tried to make America racist. If you have just joined us, you are with the Xander Gibb Show, and I am live with Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck, which goes out Sundays 3 to 5 Eastern, and you can find everything about him. Well, not everything. It doesn't tell you about what snacks he likes. But most things you can find on freedomondeck.com. Now, tell me, Chet, when because people think that as commentators, Jennifer Hudson, that's who I was trying to think of. Thank you, Carla.
Hudson, yep.
I try and be as impartial as possible, and I get into trouble even with the Republicans sometimes, because when I see something good that a Democrat is doing, I actually want to comment on it because I think it's imperative to do so. But I don't see very much good coming from the left, unfortunately. So there's not very much to comment on as far as I'm concerned. But ultimately, apparently, that makes me impartial. So what should I do? Should I be pandering and posturing and saying how wonderful the Democrats are when we know they ain't?
No, and pacifism doesn't work. When they hit you, you got to hit them back. You got to punch them in the nose. You got to hit them just as hard as they hit you, if not harder.
Yeah.
All these great conservatives, all these wonderful checker pants Republicans, they're the problem with the Republican Party because they shut down once that bastard was in office for 8 years. And I'm talking about Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
And the reason they did, Xander, was because they feared being called a racist.
Yeah.
Because anytime you called Obama out for his policies, you were called a racist.
Hey.
It was like the perfect candidate for them.
I've had it done to me, I've had it done to me hundreds of times.
Believe me.
I saw they were attacking the first lady, and I think she's absolutely beautiful. And I challenged someone today and on Twitter, and they were calling her a hooker, and it really makes me mad, because she never was any of those things. She was a model, and I pointed out about the fact that Barack Obama's mother was a skin flick. She was in all the skin flick magazines back in the day. Yeah, but that's a different thing because it was the president's mother, not the president's wife. I mean, get a freaking grip. Even if America has lost its objectivity, even if he or her, the president or the first lady were any of these things, what difference does it make what they were or did in the past or did 30 years ago or said 30 years ago? It's about what they're doing now to make a difference to the United States is what's of essence here. Nothing else.
But it didn't matter when Bill Clinton was the president of the United States.
No.
All the crap that he had done before getting into that office. And Hillary was no saint either. She was a lawyer at the time before they got into the White House, and she actually fought for pedophiles. One guy that almost killed a 12-year-old little girl, and they have the audio of her talking about the lie detector test where she's laughing, and she says, "That's when I lost my faith in the lie detector test." And she's laughing about this. This guy raped and tried to kill a 12-year-old little girl. I think there were two of them. The one that she had gotten off with, and she's been married to a rapist forever.
Yeah.
But they never called them out on this shit.
No. And the other thing about Hillary, she was fired, wasn't she, from a law firm for what was it? I can't remember.
Yes.
Some kind of impropriety.
Yeah, and it kind of tied into Watergate. I'm going to
have
to
it was
look through
it
that
was Watergate related. It really was Watergate related. I mean, she should never. But having sorry to interrupt you, but when you say disbarred, so were Barack and Mike. They were both disbarred. So I think if you're disbarred, you shouldn't be able to run for public office, because if you've committed some kind of crime or impropriety, it should bar you from entering a race to be in civic office. It really is that simple, or should be that simple.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will just say that the First Lady is absolutely gorgeous. She's a smart woman. She knows 5 different languages. They don't like bringing that up. She is raising a wonderful son. Her family, Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka all say what a great woman she's been from the time she walked through the door and was accepted as part of their family. Even Ivana, who still gives Trump some guidance, loves her. And, she's a great woman. So, when she wears the wrong jacket, they criticize her. When she wears the wrong heels, they criticize her. They criticize her for visiting troops and wearing the wrong slacks. It's absolutely mind-numbing.
But
She's
she
a
was
great
married.
First Lady.
If she was married to a Democrat, they would love her. Do you know that? If she was married to a Democrat, she would be on the front of every magazine. I mean, look, they had Big Mike on the cover of magazines. 12 foot tall and could play baseball.
Still.
Basketball. So
They still.
don't get me started.
They still put him on Esquire and Ellen magazine.
Yeah.
They never ever give any credit to Melania Trump. And second of all, if you don't believe in the president's policies and you don't like him as the president of the United States, what the hell does that have to do with her?
Yeah, I don't like Barry and Michelle, but if I would like to hope I would be respectful to them in person, because I think that's the basic. We got to leave it there, unfortunately. I just realized the time, but as always, it slips away. But thank you so much for calling us, Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck, who I'm sure will be back with us tomorrow. Have a great night, and don't be swimming too much in that pool.
We're actually going to go out there. We got the light hooked up now, so we're going out there. I'll be thinking of you, Zan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care.
I'll be getting mine soon. Thank you so much, Chet. Take care, brother.
All right, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
Care.
That was Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check him out and check out the show, which is, as I said, Sundays, 3 till 5 Eastern. So my guest tonight is Mark Sutherland, international political commentator, and I caught up with him earlier today to break down the day's very hottest topics. Welcome back to the show, Mark Sutherland. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. How is the world with you?
Absolute pleasure to join you, Xander. How is the world with me? Well, I'm still coping with this communist experiment that we're having within the nation of the UK. Other than that, I am fine. I'm wondering when we're all going to start pushing back, my dear friend.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that they kind of give us a few crumbs and say we're opening up here and there and all of this BS. But it's not enough as far as I'm concerned. But I think that people are starting to wake up because it's affecting the left and the right. So maybe it's something that will unite us, like a common aim to actually regain control of our lives, because clearly government, either side of the pond, is not going to do that for us.
No, I agree. And having gone out to my town and witnessed social distancing signs, sprayed onto the pavement, it really has took me back of seeing people wearing masks and how much they're swallowing all this propaganda. It's extremely concerning, my dear friend.
Yeah, because it's inappropriate when somebody says to you, "Where's your mask?" to say that it's up your butt. Apparently, it's inappropriate for me to say
well,
that.
The other thing is to turn around and say, "Well, I can't for health reasons." And isn't it interesting that they're all going, "Oh, you've got to wear a mask," but they never said that at the outset of this pandemic whatsoever.
No.
So it's not about your health. It's about control, Xander. That's what this is all about.
It's totally about control, and that's a great segue because President Trump gave a speech this weekend and echoed some of that with his 4th of July weekend speech that was billed by some as a turning point and by others as the true beginning of his campaign. Now, the speech was so patriotic, it was hated by the Democrats, which was to be expected, given the fact that they hate America. Now, President Trump, got the wrong teeth in, and the prompter just decided to lay an egg of some description. So President Trump, in fact, slammed what he called the left-wing cultural revolution that has led to violent mayhem in the streets and the toppling of historic statues. They want to silence us, but we will not be silenced, President Trump said to cheers of USA, USA. We will not be intimidated by bad, evil people. It will not happen, he said, to more cheers from the thousands of supporters in the Monument's amphitheater before a 4th of July fireworks show. Isn't it good that we have a president in the United States who is standing up to, I'm just going to say it, this bullshit?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, absolutely. How can we can't argue with that? Isn't it excellent that, when the governor Newsom or whatever his idiot name is in California turns around and goes, well, you're not having firework parties, and a bunch of patriotic Californians, then, they fire off so many fireworks, you've never seen anything like it.
Absolutely.
It's exactly the same in New York. People took the lead from the commander-in-chief, from the president, to calling out. I mean, you used a fascinating comment to me, which sounds incredible, really, when you turn around and say that the Democrats hate America.
Yeah.
The Democratic leaders who are multimillionaires who have benefited financially from
capitalism,
Washington, D.C., from the, the District of Columbia that they want to turn into a state so that they can create a situation where they would be permanently in power. People need to explore that comment and what they've got planned. I mean, it's really ironic to me when we look at the history of America and why it is founded, but how these people have benefited. Mr. Biden, China owns you. China has given you and your son millions and millions of dollars. Let's just call it out for what it is.
For sure.
No wonder President Trump says what he does, which is, what is the problem in being proud of your nation?
Yeah.
And when all various Democrats and other people, all they can do is criticize the dress that Melania is wearing, right?
Right.
Designed by the Queen. The design comes from children that have suffered abuse, and that's how they've drawn it, and they're exercising those emotions. And that dress is worn as a tribute to that.
Yes.
To remind ourselves of the other awful things that have been going on. And all they can do is have a go at her. The reason what I'm saying is that people passionately believe in their country. You and I are not saying that we worship the president and the ground that he walks on.
Not.
We are just thankful. Leaders are appointed by God. I believe that. We're just thankful that he's there. We're thankful that Hillary Clinton did not win.
From your mouth to God's ears.
The last 4 years, and on what is now being exposed, and what's coming out. And how anyone can to actually deny that there is a group of elites, and they are trying to defend their backsides as much as possible because they're about to be found out.
But isn't that why we're getting the level of response that we're getting? Isn't why they're encouraging this revolt? Isn't this why they're using black people in order to further their agenda, when usually they're not interested in whether black people live or die, or gay people, or any minority? But isn't this why they're doing all of the things that they're doing right now in order to cause not only divide but differential? I don't know. It's posturing, really, and they want us to do it.
You're right, and it's straight out of the Salalinsky playbook. It's straight out of communism. You create the division, the divisions. That's what you keep doing, and this is where it comes from. And also what we've done, sadly, within the United States, under things like Common Core and all this, what the curriculum that's taught in schools, the fact that, as Thomas Sewell brilliantly explained, that charter schools have not been allowed to majorly. There's always a fight for charter schools within Black American communities. When they happen, then the achievement rates go through the roof. The fact that what I'm saying is that we're not teaching civics, pride in a nation, and all of this. This is deliberate dumbing down.
Right.
You are teaching children to pass exams instead of actually critically thinking. When a young girl using social media goes out on the streets and is interviewing young Americans, and they don't even know how many world wars there were in the last century, they don't know who actually won the Civil War in America, and etc., etc., and asking those questions, and my mouth is on the floor in utter disbelief. And also, then I'm sad. I'm sad that people, as that phrase goes, if you do not remember history, if you do not mark history, then you are destined to repeat the same mistakes. And what's going on? Socialism leads to communism. Let's bring this statue down. Let's rewrite this. Let's just rip up the Constitution of the United States.
But at what point do you think? At what point do you think people are going to say, "Hell, this is far enough"? Because when they're removing episodes of the Golden Girls because they had face masks on that made them look like they might be black. I mean, aren't we scraping the barrel for stuff to complain about now?
Yes, we are. And what is fantastic also is that the incredible people like Larry Elder with the new documentary Uncle Tom, if no one's seen it, go out and see it. He as a black American, pushing back. Jesse Peterson pushing back. Candace Owen pushing back. The amazing economist, I think, Walter Matthews, pushing back. Other Thomas Sewell, of course, other people pushing back massively. I'm turning around and saying, well, hold on a minute, we're not going to have this division. We are black Americans, we are conservative. This voice needs to get louder and louder. When Jesse Lee Peterson writes a book in 2003 called Scan, where he's calling out, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, quite rightly, for being race baiters, he's called them out. Jesse Lee Jackson can do that. Jesse Lee Peterson rather can do that because Jesse Lee Peterson is also a black American.
Right.
There is this intellectual rigor out there. It is out there. And the thing is, because the media is stirring all this, it's like with this COVID-19 rubbish. Sorry, I'll say it. They're absolutely stirring this pandemic. Absolutely. To do whatever they can to bring down the United States of America.
And the UK.
On.
And the UK too. I mean,
I agree with you.
It's happening here too.
It's disgusting over here. And what we've seen, Xander, over here, it's been a shock, but people like Melanie Phillips have called it out a long, long time ago, in the fact that we've seen the left go through every single institution in this country. And as I've said before, the only institution that Margaret Thatcher couldn't ride a coach of horses through was the education department. Now look, she left in 1990. Now look at where we are 30 years ago.
Yes.
30 years of the left. The left took over education.
They did.
It has taken over the unions and all the rest. So it's this whole thing of cultural Marxism is right within our country.
Absolutely.
And suddenly it's all come at once.
It speaks into the liberalization of the planet, which is a great segue into the next item. Excuse me, because Boris Johnson has basically unveiled a major plan to block Huawei in revenge for the Chinese threat, and he's ready to begin the process to start phasing out the use of Huawei technology in the 5G network as soon as this year. In what is seen as a major U-turn in the US, they're pulling bases from the UK, according to Philips. Now, GCHQ is understood to have revised previous assurances that the risks posed by the Chinese technology can't be safely managed. Now, the Prime Minister will be handed a report this week which will contain no information on the US sanction on Huawei. Now, these measures will force the company to use the untrusted technology and could add risk to restrict the major control. Now, it comes after China reacted with fury over Boris Johnson's offer to allow Hong Kong citizens to come to the UK after the new controversial security law was approved this week. This is being viewed as a fairly dramatic reversal by the Prime Minister, especially after in January when Boris Johnson allowed Huawei to build parts of the network. So there's a twofold issue here that I want to get some brief comments about because we are time bound. First of all, tell us about 5G, but then I'd like to get your opinion on the upcoming influx of Hong Kongians, if that's what they're called, to the UK, and can we really handle that?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think already that Huawei have access to 35% of our communications network, and that needs to be kicked back. Let's just remind ourselves, China is a communist country. Huawei is a company that is a Chinese company, even though that they would deny that they have taken any guidance from Beijing and all the rest from the Communist Party. I mean, I've never heard so much rubbish. As far as I'm concerned, they're the biggest spy agency in the world.
Of course.
That's why they have the social credit scheme in China, which is what they're trying to impose right now across the rest of the world. We need to totally and utterly push back and not have it, period. Our security is at risk. Now, we come back to the Five Eyes. The reason why they've also said this is because the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has actually had a whisper with Boris, turning around and saying, well, if you give them access to this, no thank you, we're all part of the Five Eyes, then we're not going to share anything with you, because China will just get it.
Yeah.
So it is an extremely good thing, and to be honest, 5G needs to be completely, as far as I'm concerned, dismantled within this country, and everyone goes, oh, conspiracy. No, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. We've talked about it before. It is dangerous.
It totally is. But the good thing about this is that what it's done is it's gone some way towards restoring my faith in Boris, if he kind of goes through with this, because my kind of faith in him was wavering somewhat. Now, I want to go to part 2 of what I asked you with regards to, I don't even know what the final figure is, but I think it's in the thousands, or is it a million people?
Potentially 3 million.
3 million, right, from Hong Kong that they want to ship into the UK, who have, number one, never paid into the system, number two, probably can't even speak the language, and number three, will want to either be supported or take jobs from an already battered system.
Well, it's profoundly, I mean, this is difficult. Let's just be honest. Our economy has just gone virtually broke. Yeah. We've kicked a quarter of our gross domestic product off a cliff, which we didn't need to do because of this pandemic. We are broke as a nation. We have put half the working adults in this country onto government schemes to financially support them. That is what we have done. Frankly, we can't, with great respect, we can't afford this.
No.
Now, we have to go back in regard to, I think it was in 1999 that we handed Hong Kong over to the Chinese, or 97, Lord Patton and all that. What the Chinese have done over there is despicable, is disgusting. People have been fighting for their rights and their human rights, and quite rightly we should support that. Yeah. But it's been very, very convenient, hasn't it?
It has.
The pandemic comes along, and then immediately all those protests are shut down.
Yeah.
The logistics of bringing 3 million people over here, I'm really, really sorry. We can't do that.
No.
We cannot do that at the moment. At the moment, we can't even stop illegal immigration coming over from France via the Channel.
No.
And before anyone turns around and goes, well, what's that got to do with it? Well, we
it's
can't
got everything
even
to do
control
with it.
Our borders properly.
But let me ask you this. Let me backtrack just a little, Mark. Sorry to interrupt you. But don't you think that the UK has a level of responsibility in this? I'm not sure to the point of rehoming 3 million Hong Kongese, but shouldn't they have left the situation a little less tenuous in Hong Kong when they handed back the reins to China. Shouldn't they have ensured that the Hong Kongese people had their rights left intact and protected? Because China obviously are not ever so good on human rights anyway.
You're absolutely right. Of course, you're right. But we have to wake up to the fact that China is a communist country, and you go through the history of Mao and all the rest, and what they've done to their own people and starving their own people because of their ideology. Frankly, they couldn't give a stuff. They couldn't give a stuff. We would say this, and their chairman said, "But it doesn't matter. We're just going to tear that up. We're going to ignore you.
Yeah.
Who do you think we are? We are China. We have." We have we have the biggest employer in the world, which is the Chinese army, and that's it. And we will just march on and do what we want to do, and we're going to take over the world, which is what they're trying to do.
Of course.
We look at what's this art of war and the fourth generation war that's going on against America. We look at what's happened, what they're trying to do, and the saber rattling with Australia. They actually do not care. What are they actually going to? Do they actually care about what we think in the UK of them? And don't get me wrong. The human rights record and what they do is disgusting, and it does grieves me with what's happening in Hong Kong.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, can we see 3 million people coming into this country?
No, because aren't we? Isn't the UK on its knees already without bringing in 3 million more? We got to leave it there. Tell people where they can find you. Mark will be back with us very soon. We need to book in a whole show with Mark to totally catch up. But Mark, tell people where they can find you and where they can find your work.
That's very kind of you. So my website is marksutherland.org. You can find me on Facebook, on Periscope, Twitter. It's the Mark Sutherland Report, and I need to up my game there and do some more. But that's where you can find me. And Xander, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Again. Thank you very much. Xander, it's back to you in the studio. Oh, yes, sir. That was the fabulous Mark Sutherland. You can check him out at marksutherland.org. All of his contact information is on the Xander Gibb Show page for today. We'll just quickly come back to the live feed. Thank you to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thank you to Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Thank you to Mark Sutherland. Thanks to everyone in the live feed. Not had your fill of the Gibster. That's me, I think. You can catch me 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 in Australia. Join us on Tuesday for more scintillating chat when Tony Losacco joins us. Thank you so much for watching. Please click that all-important share button. If you're not following the Xander Gibb Show, make sure you do, or I'll send the Game Mafia around to sort you out. Please click the share button. I really, really, really do love you all. I have been Xander Gibb. Good night.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh, yes, sir.